Colleague from North Carolina, Congresswoman Ellmers.
Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my distinguished colleague from North Carolina whose passion and long-standing experience in this area have brought this great piece of legislation for us to be able to vote on today. And I would just like to rise and say that I am in support of the rule and the underlying bill to the Skills Act. You know, here in Congress, we frequently hear from our constituents back home that we need to work with the President on many issues. And this is a perfect example of a piece of legislation that we are working with President Barack Obama on. This Skills Act directly addresses what the President recently called a maze of confusing training programs. This is our chance to come together and create meaningful common sense reform that will help struggling Americans pull themselves up out of unemployment and empower them to better provide for their families. It would also create a single workforce investment fund. It basically streamlines numerous ineffective, redundant programs, and it allows for every American to better themselves. I can only think of who this bill actually helps. I can think of the single mother who is working every day and wants to help herself to better help her family and have the flexibility to go back to school, to our good community colleges in this country, to our technical schools. This bill cuts the red tape that our community colleges and our technical schools now face. And now we can help them. There are so many out there that need this help. Mr. Speaker, this idea is not Republican and it is not Democrat. It is common sense. In fact, this bill is largely the same bill that came out of the Education and Workforce Committee last Congress, and most of the Democratic provisions have been retained. I am also hearing from constituents back home. For instance, Dr. Larry Keene, president of Fayetteville Technical Community College, recently told my office, "I am in favor of this Skills Act and the purposes for which it is created. Anything that contributes to the simplification of a very complex system is of value." Again, I rise today in support of this. I agree with Dr. Keene, and I am here to say that I am calling on my colleagues to step away from this partisan attack and help us pass this bill. Additionally, I hope the Senate will do the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from